everybody! Hello and welcome to the live stream. I just turned on the camera, or just hit the live button, so welcome. Alright, I just posted it out to Discord. Let me get my invite link. Copy. Send it there. Awesome. Let's give it a moment for everybody to join us. Hello. Today's stream is 28 years later, the Bone Temple themed. After the movie that just came out, I think it was a couple days ago. I've heard only amazing things. I cannot wait to go see it in theaters myself. I believe Frieren just came out too, Frieren Season 2. That was yesterday. First episode, Season 2 just came out. So if you have not gone and watched our Frieren live stream, go back and watch that one. It was a lot of fun. Welcome. Hi, B-Rad. Thanks for joining us. I am doing very well. Thank you for asking. We'll, once again, as always, give it a couple minutes. Hello, everybody. Hello, welcome. Just getting all the notifications that our stream is live. We got a couple people on. We'll give it, like I said, maybe one more minute to hop on. Thank you, Leah. Thank you for the well wishes. Hello, Shane. Got everything up, got everything ready. I am excited for today's stream. I got some really cool characters and some really cool textures today to add together and add on to one of our past avatars. We don't have any new avatars, but we got 3 new outfits we're going to take a look at today. Get those loaded. I'm interested to see how they come in. I have not put them into MetaTailor myself. So we're gonna be testing the MetaTailor side of it live together. I got them all prepped in Maya and stuff like that, so I am confident they will work, but we will discover it together. All right, that was the minute I was waiting for. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the MetaTailor live stream. I am Mark, and we're gonna be jumping into a 28 years later Bone Temple themed behind the scenes. Now remember, the behind the scenes series is your kind of average everyday workflow series. I'm not going to be going into the nitty-gritties of the marketplace or the tools or anything like that. Of course, I'll explain what I'm doing while I'm doing it, but this is just kind of to show you how somebody in the industry might use this product in their pipeline, how they'll get it into their pipeline. So today we're looking at zombies, specifically zombie outfits. Like I was saying right before I did the whole introduction, is we've got a past zombie avatar that we're going to put 3 new outfits on. I pulled these outfits off of DeviantArt. They are ripped from World War Z. I believe it's a video game. I do know it's a movie and a very famous book, but I think these are specifically from a video game of that same name. As always, if you see anything you like that I'm working on, everything I found is free online. I will happily send you my files, my work files, my characters, my MTA files, so you can work on the outfits and everything I am working on here as well. I am working on a pro version of MetaTailor. Make sure you are signed up for pro. You get so many amazing things with your pro membership. I'll try to highlight what those things are as we are working. Free memberships are also amazing. You can do a lot of the stuff we're doing with the free membership. You get unlimited number of imports, but only 5 exports per month with a new membership. So if you're planning on using MetaTailor, might as well just get the pro. All right, as always, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you like live streams like this one and want to be caught up with more like this one. Other than that, make sure you join us on our Discord. Our Discord community is amazing. That's where we will have a whole bunch of announcements. That's where we announce our streams. That's where everything is. That's where we kind of live off of. So join our Discord. I have shared the Discord link at the start of the chat. I will share it at the end of the stream as well. But join our Discord channel. Not only does it have great support for MetaTailor, where I am in there, our devs are in there answering your questions, fixing things for you, but it also has a wealth of artists and people with great knowledge in Maya, ZBrush, Unreal, all that other stuff to answer those questions for you. So it's just a really fantastic community. All right, that's it for my intro. I see the chat was popping off here for a second. Hello, Illustrations. Hello, and then Nannyzar, my fave movie of all time. Oh, that's amazing. I cannot wait to see it. I love 28 Days Later, even though I watched it very late after I watched Walking Dead. So it's amazing to see the parallels between what The Walking Dead was inspired by versus what 28 Days became. And I saw 28 Weeks Later. I have not seen the newest two 28 Years Later because it's been hard to find them to stream. One of them is in the theaters right now, so I'm excited to see those. Hello, everybody. All right. So I always like to start these off with some like community, or at least this is a new thing I'm trying to do, some community creations and stuff like that. So let me go ahead and find the community creation I want to show you guys today. It is an amazing trailer. We've shown it before. It is a Battlefield trailer. Here it is right here. Let me mute the Apple Music for a moment with my royalty-free sounds, royalty-free music. Here is our Battlefield to Unreal Engine 5 trailer from YouTube.
I recently...
So this is a fan film. Featuring Battlefield from Virtual Production Insider. I'm going to share my screen in just a moment. They did this amazing thing where they created all these characters. They have all these stunts. I'll play parts of it, bits of it here and there. But focusing, all the clothing was done in MetaTailor though. So take a look at this amazing community creation from Virtual Production Insider, this Battlefield fan-made film. We've shown it before, but they've kind of released, I think this is more recent release, 8 days ago, of some of the behind the scenes work. So I wanted to show you this. And that kind of goes with our behind the scenes theme as well. Let's take a look together. It's 30 minutes. I'm not going to show all 30 minutes here. We can show some of the stunt team stuff because that's always fun.
Just blew me away and really kind of opened the door for other ideas that I had. I was like, oh, I didn't know we could do this. Now we could do this kind of stunt. And Bobby and his team just took it to the next level. They were a joy to work with. So definitely check out Good Slate Pictures. And if you want to see a more detailed kind of breakdown of like the stunt work you see in the short film, Bobby and his team actually have a channel called Behind the Stunts here on.
I mostly wanted to see this part here.
Excited, and they were just bringing so many different ideas to the table, things that I didn't even know were possible. And they even started putting together test stunts and sending them over to me to show what we were capable of, what would be possible for this short film. And this just blew me away and really kind of opened the door for other.
There we go. That's kind of the stuff I wanted to show there. Our environment, mocap. Let's see, where is... Talk about MetaTailor right there. Using physics. Let's see, where can we actually see it? We'll play the MetaTailor section. Right there.
Time to finesse the clothing on our characters, and this is where the new MetaTailor bridge feature really came into play. Let me tell you guys, having the ability to just quickly import some clothes, have a character, and just instantly send them over to MetaTailor without having to do any exporting is a game changer. I love it. This is just so nice in being able to take all those assets. You have a new option for send to MetaTailor, right? You want to make sure obviously that you have MetaTailor open and that it's then going to be able to receive it. And then you switch over to MetaTailor. You kind of go through the normal workflow of getting the character set up, bring in the clothes, apply it to the character, and then you're able to then send it back over to Unreal. So definitely check out MetaTailor. Their new bridge feature is amazing and I highly endorse it. All right, now let's talk about.
All right, of course, we always love an endorsement. And let's go ahead and find just a quick pic of their video.
Welcome to...
Sergeant, I want you to walk me through your most recent mission. Help me fill in some blanks.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me your primary objective?
Yes, sir. We were tasked with providing ground support for the 142nd Battalion in order to seize control of an enemy outpost.
Bulldozer! Enemy vehicle! 12 o'clock! On the way! Good effect on target! Let's move!
All right, so we've already seen the whole video. I don't want to lock you guys in for another 7 minutes to watch this whole video. This is linked on our Discord. This is linked, the behind the scenes and this original trailer are both linked on our Discord. I'm going to drop those videos again in our events channel right now so that you can find those and watch the whole thing if you are interested. But that is what we have. That's kind of, like I said, the community creation I wanted to share today. All right, let's go ahead and send that over real quick. Pop, pop. Gonna go to our events channel where this is posted. Here are the videos we watched. So there's the original, and I'll find the new behind the scenes one. Once again, those are in the other channels as well, but I just dropped them in our events announcement channel. So you can go back and watch those videos as well. All right, let's jump into MetaTailor, everybody. Let's take a look at what we're actually creating today. And instead of looking at Battlefield, go back to zombies, which I guess those two kind of go hand in hand. All right, as I get this fired up again, drop the music down, have that playing in the background. As I get this fired up and ready, just a reminder, Freerin, the new season was yesterday. The first episode aired yesterday. So if you have not already, go back and take a look at our Freerin live stream. You can see the character is, where are you hiding? Where are you hiding? It's not in here. Where are you? Couldn't have been that long ago. Must have deleted the avatar. It's gone missing. Or I overrode it with something else. All right, but we did a Freerin live stream. Go back, watch that. You can see that outfit get created. So we've got this zombie right here. Let's get this zombie in some new clothes. So I'm in MetaTailor, like I said, MetaTailor Pro. So let's go ahead and hit new project. I'm not gonna do a custom avatar, so I'll just start with any of these. I can start with male muscle, and let's call this our Bone Temple character. Now, even though these are World War Z characters, I still think these outfits that I have are really cool. So we can get them dressed on this character and transfer it over the zombie, or if we wanted to, we could start with the zombie, but I am gonna start with this character. He's in a nice T-pose. That'll help kind of get the outfits to kind of land properly and look nice. So I've got 3 outfits. I've got what they call the Screamer, the gas bag, and the Bomber, I believe. Let's go ahead and start with the Screamer, because I think that one's really cool. So Screamer, so I'm gonna go to Import, Cloth and Accessory right here. And we got Screamer right here. So I've got all of these different things we're gonna pull in real quick right here. We'll start with the shirt. Let's go ahead and just start with the shirt. Comes in, it's a little bit of a low poly, but that's okay. You can fix this by either baking down the smooth in whatever 3D DCC you have, or for this, we can just ignore it. It's stylized anyway. I think this looks fine. All right, so this is called Scream Shirt. It's from the Screamer. It's got a couple of different options for the materials. So some of them might have 1 or 2 materials in here. This one just has the actual mat for the shirt. So I'll go into color and we'll start looking at our textures. All right, so where is our shirt? This is our Screamer. We've got head, we've got body, and where is there's head. Targa, body 01. Doesn't like that target. We can fix that in a second. That one's fine. Is it you? Will you be fine? Nope, that's the head. Got legs. Wonder why our one body one is being weird. That's okay, we'll fix that in just a second. I'll show you guys how you can go in and fix a weird texture. All the other ones are fine. So instead of this, let's hit cancel. And let's do the pants, because I saw the pants were working just fine. Pants. There they are. Textures are coming in, so they have the textures on there already. Some nice textures, some really good bloody textures. Then we can go into our normal maps, go back into our textures. We've got legs and legs normal maps. You can just add some nice wrinkles, add some nice textures, and it starts to hide some of that polygonal feel to it, but there are some nice pants. Let's go next step. We'll call these pants. Put them right there. We can check our source dimensions. I don't mind it where it was without the source dimensions. So then we'll go ahead and hit next step. I'm gonna head over a little bit, and I can probably crop this just a tiny little bit too. A little bit wide there on the screen. There we go, a little bit better. All right. So now is where we kind of decide how we want this to fit on our character. I'll start by kind of moving our pants up. Scaling them out a little bit. There we go. Right about there. That's looking good. I like the look of that. I like where that's placed. We'll go ahead and hit confirm, and then I'll hit start my pose match. And this is, I really like how these legs are kind of splayed out. That'll help a lot with making sure that the thighs and the legs don't kind of create that webbing in between. I think that'll look really good. And we can put all the hips forward a little bit. Our knees are sitting in a nice place. We'll just bring our heels back a little bit. Like that. All right, they only need about 60% accuracy, so this should be fine. I do see it's a little asymmetrical in how the pants are. So if you run into that, if you wanted to, you could turn off mirroring and just maybe move those pants out a little bit more and go ahead and we can hit preview pose wrap. It'll put those pants into more of a straight position, but then we can go ahead and hit confirm and let MetaTailor do the rest of its magic, taking this dumb mesh and turning it into a smart mesh that'll move and be rigged with the character. There we go. Looking pretty good. We got a couple of little hiccups here on the cheeks. Taking it to sculpting mode and nudging one vertex. All right. So we've got this set up, but what I was going to do before I read that is we can see some of this is kind of sticking out. A lot of this right here, I think we can fix just by adding a little bit of thickness to this. Adding a little bit of thickness, giving those pants a little bit more weight, and there we go. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and hit import. We'll go ahead and hit avatar, or not avatar, cloth and accessories. Let's take a look at what else we got. Belt, I believe, will be on the legs, so we'll bring that in. Boots will be on the legs. We're going to bring in a glove, but let's bring in the helmet, because that's part of the head. And look, it's got that texture applied, so we'll just try to have to fix that shirt, figure out what's going on with that shirt. And we'll give that headpiece a normal map. There's head, and here is the head normal. There it is. Just a little extra detail. Next step. We can call this a headpiece, a helmet. Let's see what our source dimensions look like. A little bit smaller, so we're going to keep it where it is. And now let's get this one into position. All right. That's doing pretty good. We want to scale it up just a little bit. I was just looking for it to kind of stick out over the head a tiny little bit. Probably want it a little bit bigger. It feels a little goofy right now. It's supposed to be off kilter because this is, remember, this is on a zombie. This is on a creature that doesn't care that the helmet's off kilter. It's unbuckled, it's knocked out of place, it's not sitting on the head right. If you wanted to sit it on the head right, you could sit here and kind of move it around and try to get into a better position. But overall, I'm just trying to make it look good on the head. It shouldn't be too large. I mean, we're trying to tell a story here, but the story isn't a child wearing a helmet. It is, this helmet was designed for this worker and then they became a zombie. So we'll do that. got our pose match. I think that's fine where it is. Let's go ahead and hit next step and see what that looks like with a little extra tailoring on there. Matching around our head. I think that looks pretty good. We'll leave it just like that. All right, let's get those boots and that belt in there, and then I will show you quickly in Photoshop how we can take a look at these targas, because this happens a lot. These targas coming in like this, it happens a lot where there might not be, or the textures are not right from where you pulled it from. So oftentimes they take just a little bit of work to get those targas into place. And a lot of times it's just opening up the target in Photoshop and re-exporting it as a JPEG. I don't know the exact science behind it, but I do know that that works. There we go. We have some nice normal maps in there. Next step. Call this a shoe, and I just did one shoe this time. Keep source dimensions. Keep source dimensions actually kept it kind of on the ground plane, so I'll keep that one checked. Let's hit next step. And if you have been with me on these streams before, you know I like to do one shoe. But today, I did save our last character has two shoes. Because like I say, I always like to prefer one shoe when I have it, but sometimes that's not an option for us. So today I did prepare a model that has two shoes to show you how you can still work with those two shoes. Because sometimes you don't have an option. And today's model kind of is that use case, that where it's like, okay, the shoes are a little asymmetrical, the legs are a little asymmetrical, so I need to bring in both. I could either do a left shoe and a right shoe and import each one of them individually and not mirror them, but you know what? That's a little messy. That's just kind of extra pieces in our content library, which isn't necessary. Sometimes that doesn't work for us. All right, so you can see I got that foot placed in there. Let's hit confirm, next step. All right, this is one of my favorite parts of MetaTailor. This is the dynamic layering. I love the dynamic layering, and this is a perfect use case. Did this worker have his pants tucked into his boots, or did he have the boots under the pants? Either way look really good. Either option for this looks really, really good on this character, and you have that option of telling that story. Because these are smart meshes, MetaTailor is automatically tucking those pants into that boot, or vice versa, dragging those pants over the boot. Both look great. Now, if I want to take this boot and mirror it, bring it over to there. Now, once again, if you wanted one tucked in and one not to make him look extra sloppy, extra messy because he's asymmetrical, that would require importing two shoes. But because we are just kind of working with this right here to have him look symmetrical, we can just keep it like that. All right, he looks good. He's looking zombie-ish. But now let's go ahead and fix that targa. So we're gonna quick open up Photoshop. So bear with me for one moment as I log into my Photoshop file. Photoshop. Open up Screamer, open up textures. We got a couple of these. Let's grab these three targas right here. Then all right, I opened three of them to take a look at them to figure out which one's which, to figure out what's going wrong with these. So let's see if this is something we can work with. Back to the, desktop plus me, there we go. All right, so this one has some weird color channels. This one has some weird color channels, and there we go. So here it is. Here is the right one. So I can X out of these two right here. And we can see in here, this is gonna have our glove, it's gonna have our vest, it's gonna have our shirt, all gory and bloody and wonderful, but that is everything we're gonna need with its little decal. Which, oh, and here's a little badge right here. So fun fact, if you wanted to go in and adjust it, you could bring something like this into Photoshop and edit it, or you could take it into Substance Painter and add your own decal or your own grunge and stuff like that, and that still works bringing that back into MetaTailor. You can do this after the fact. You can make changes to the texture. If I want to change the colors on this by doing a hue shift or something like that, or doing a color replace, you can absolutely do that. But all I did is I opened up the Targa, the TGA file, in Photoshop, and I have to hit File, Export. You can do a quick export as a PNG or export as, and make sure the file format's a JPEG. I keep the quality around 6. You could crank it up all the way. That's up to you, but you don't need to have any Photoshop knowledge. You could do this in probably an MS Paint. You could definitely do it in a program like GIMP, all those different free options if you don't have Photoshop like me, but then you just hit export. It's a 2K texture. Find our screamer, find our textures. It's gonna be a JPEG, so we'll be able to see it, export it. There we go. I'll keep this open for one moment as we hop over to MetaTailor, import cloth and accessories, go back to our shirt that we wanted to in the first place, grab our color, textures, make sure we can see it. There it is right there. Excellent. Normal map, body normal map. Now it looks better. All right, so I don't burn through all of my computer's processing. There we go. I can close out of this. I don't need to save it, and I can close out of you. All right, so there's that shirt. Next step. Now we can go throw this shirt on here. We'll call it a shirt. And if we run into that issue again, we'll just throw open Photoshop. But I did check the gas bag and the other guy, so hopefully, cross our fingers, we don't run into that issue again. This was the only one. Don't think I double checked. Next step. Move it up. If you join me on my streams, we like to match the neck. And this one matches pretty well. I want that collar to be a little bit loose. Let's bring it back a little bit. Let's kind of sit that on the, but I might scale it down just a little bit. You can see there's some thickness to that. I think that's good though. I think that scale right there, kind of up a little bit. I think that's perfect. Confirm, let's start our pose match. So, this is a short sleeve shirt, so we just kind of bring our elbows and our hands where we think we want them. Bring them in. We're gonna wanna bring our shoulders in a little bit. Bring our elbows in. The closer in you bring your elbows, the thinner the arm is. Same with the hands. Because these hands don't matter, you can bring them in real small and get those elbows nice and small. Grab on my strong hand. All right, there we go. I do want that elbow, I think, down a little bit. I don't think this was such a long shirt that it hung down past the elbows. There's that. Let's bring these forward a little bit. All right, that looks okay. Let's bring those hips up. Let's bring them up a little bit. I want to drag that shirt down a bit. Now let's hit preview pose wrap. All right, that did a nice job. It's pulling a little bit under here. That feels like it's sitting in the right spot. If I wanted to, I could probably pull that elbow out a little bit more and have that hit a little bit more kind of bicep area. Hits preview pose wrap. All right, there we go. And that chest out maybe a little bit like that. Let's hit preview pose wrap. There we go. That's a nice clean move. All right, let's go ahead and hit confirm, and let's see our MetaTailor magic take this dumb mesh into a smart mesh and see how it works with this shirt. Does it push that shirt out in a nice way? And yes, it did. Of course, it's poking some holes in it. These holes could be interesting. These holes might not actually be necessary when we flip our avatar over. But what I am gonna do, because it's on this character right now, is I will crank our thickness up a little bit. I don't want to add too much because this is just a t-shirt. Our front is looking okay. The back here, we could maybe do a little bit of a touch up. So let's go ahead and do push pull and do we'll do sculpt layered for now so we can kind of see some of those points that are out. We've got a bigger radius, a bigger strength, and just kind of, you know what it is. This shirt is not merged nicely, but that's okay. You kind of see some of those parts. I was actually running into this issue with another piece, and I thought that that was the only one because I had merged the vertices, but these models in particular were not great. But that did an okay job right there. It's doing a really okay job kind of moving those verts around. There we go. So something weird with these models specifically from this World War Z is all the verts will be sitting on top of each other and the faces will all be kind of like exploded, dissected. And I would combine them and I'd merge the verts and it wouldn't take. And so something is odd with these meshes. Specifically these meshes only for this character. So you might see a couple other weird things like this happening here and there. It'll be random parts. Like the whole model would be fine, except for one of them. It's the gas bag. It's the face mask. And the face mask was this kind of decimated, weird polygon thing that I could not quite fix. And so for the purpose of this stream, I just deleted the face mask. I'm like, we don't need a face mask on this. We'll leave it off. But I'm seeing it's happening just to the back of it, back and front of the shirt. Arms are fine. Under the arms are fine. You can see our normal fall off there, but this is just a weird mesh. And that's a risk. That's always going to be a risky run when you download from the internet. But yeah, it still looks good. It still moved those pieces just fine. I debated that, Shane. Turning it off. Shane is correct. Turning off surface fall off. We learned that last week. Turning off surface fall off will kind of help that move, but both verts were kind of moving anyway. You can see it's not kind of pulling any weird points out. It's just forcing me to do one vert at a time. Like I said, really weird mesh. But if you're running into that issue, like we did last week with our Jujutsu Kaisen stream, go watch the Jujutsu Kaisen stream. Wow, say that 5 times fast. You'll see there's a moment where there are separate polygons on top of the shirt to show the character line art on the character. And Shane enlightened me. If you turn off the surface fall off, it'll pull those together as one unit. All right, let's import another piece. So that was the shirt. Let's grab the vest. This fun little vest. I really like this vest because I got that thick collar. Right there, that thick collar right there. It reminds me of my childhood, specifically playing Team Fortress 2. The big bomb vest, those thick collars. I know this is more of a safety vest, and it isn't that, but it brings me joy. I like something with a big, thick, high collar. It's aesthetically pleasing to me. All right, next step. I played a lot of Team Fortress 2 back in the day. Ooh, that fit really nicely. I don't know if I want to change that at all because I like those thick, high collars. Maybe a little bit. Maybe I'll scale it down just a little bit. Just a hair. Like that. There we go, because that's more realistic. There we go. That fit really nicely. Let's start our pose match. I don't think I need to pose match anything, but I did see the shoulder sticking out just a little bit, so I brought that shoulder in so small. And next step, let that sit there. And look at that vest on that character. Perfect. If for some reason you wanted it under the shirt, you can drag it under the shirt. And that's a really clean. I guess the upside to having all these individual verts is it's creating some really nice dynamic layering. Things that I'd expect to have issues aren't having issues, and it could be because it's kind of processing it as 100 poly, or not 100, probably like 200 polys instead of one big unit for the back of the character here. But hey. All right. The helmet is under everything, and I think that's working. If I was to put this helmet over these straps, I think they'd kind of flip out over here. So keeping that helmet under is keeping that nice, keeping those close to the head right there. All right, only a couple more pieces for this guy. We're gonna keep, by the way, we're probably gonna go over on time. We usually try to keep these to an hour. I wanna do all three. I wanna show you all three, so we might go a little bit over today, so just be prepared for that. I'm not gonna leave you guys hanging. I said I had 3, we're gonna see 3. Let's throw the belt on. Simple, easy. That was probably for the legs. Yeah, because if it was not, it would not be there. Next step. Call that a belt. What's our source dimensions look like? A little bit smaller, so we'll keep that turned on. Bring our belt up. Sitting right there. Ooh, it's almost like it was made for this character now. Let's keep that nice and tight right there. Let's do that. Confirm. Next step, let's just see how that looks. It's going over the vest. We don't want that. Do we want it to go over the shirt? I don't know why. I don't think so. I guess it's kind of a tool belt, so we might have just quickly strapped it on over his shirt. That's a possibility. But I honestly think that would probably go under the shirt, over the pants. Like that. Let's quick hide the shirt real quick. See, does that follow? It kind of follows the line. No, maybe it is a tool belt. Maybe it is over the shirt. Only because we can't see it without it being over the shirt. So it's pointless to have it if you can't see it. So we'll do that. That doesn't look too bad. Awesome. So what else do we have on this? I know I've got something a little bit more difficult, and that's going, so we got our belt, we got our boots, we don't have a glove yet, we'll do the glove, we've got our helmet, we got our pants, got our shirt, got our vest. This Scream. So the Scream is, the character is called a Screamer. This was kind of his key element, his key piece, his hero piece, if you will. I'm going to go ahead and do the Scream right here. It is just a megaphone covered in blood. But it's a nice megaphone covered in blood. But you can see there's a couple pieces where this attaches to his vest. The strap kind of comes around. So this might be difficult to place. This might be something we want to call an accessory. We'll play with this. We'll see kind of what we can build with this. But it looks pretty interesting. This is one of those moments where it has two textures. So there is the part of the Screamer, and then we can put this one on for, it's probably the body. Microphone, there we go, there we go. Normal map for you, call it body. Give it a little bit of texture. For you, that's gonna be the legs. Or the head, it looks like. Yeah, the head. There we go. Adds those nice little coils to that. Let's hit next step. All right, so if I was not going to call this an accessory, which I don't think I want to, because it's going to go on different avatars and stuff like that. I think I might call this, you could probably call it a backpack or a vest. I think I'm going to file this under backpack. What is our source dimension? A little bit low, but let's go ahead and keep it where it was. Next step. All right, so let's pull this up. I want this sitting on this shoulder. Pull that forward. Scale it up a little bit. Not that much, scale it down. Right there. All right. All right, let's do that. And let's try some interesting things with our pose match. I'm gonna turn off mirror. I'll make that shoulder a little bit bigger, a little bit farther back, a little bit bigger, a little bit farther back, a little bit lower. We can pull this shoulder forward, make it a little smaller. That match kind of in there. Pull this hip in. Remember, I'm doing this asymmetrically. I'm doing with mirror turned off. Kind of matching the body to this thing. Now, I've kind of really manipulated this body. Let's do a preview pose wrap. And watch how that moves. That moved nicely. Let's watch it from this angle. I think that fit really nicely. If I expanded, it's just gonna make that shoulder a little bit bigger. Bring you forward a little bit more, out a little bit more. Because this is essentially also kind of picking what landmark it sticks to. Ooh, that's looking good. It's looking really good. Not that part. Let's undo that. There we go. All right, let's give that a try. That worked really well. Some of the things we could probably work on. I mean, this got crushed a little bit. That adds a little character to it, as if he landed on it or he fell on it. So that's something maybe you would want to touch up right there. Where this is clipped to is something we might want to grab. Try to grab the whole thing. That's doing pretty good. Just move this whole thing kind of over a little bit. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. Wah, wah. Too big. Too big of a move. It did not like that. Instead of watching my screen think for a second as I reopen MetaTailor, let's see, what did we lose? All right, it still has everything. Apply, apply. Apply, apply. All right, back to the shoulder. All right. So it did not like me trying to move the little squawker here. I won't do that again. I just kind of threw everything in. It is pseudo in order. Let's rearrange a couple things here. And that's a little bit better. There we go. Up, and let's mirror our boots over. Some of the things that might just be missing out on is some of that thickness, which we can see in the shirt. Dial that up a little bit to like there. Probably our pants, last time at least. Yep, our pants need a little bit of thickness. There we go. If I take the yield down on this, it kind of moves that out a little bit better. Doesn't affect this, and I won't mess with this too much. Makes that look a little bit better though. Let's go ahead and save this just in case. And then let's go ahead and throw this onto that zombie avatar. So we've got our avatar right here. Let's go back to our zombie. Let's go ahead and find him. There he is. And let's see how well this fits on somebody who is emaciated and dead. And just like that, it is sitting on a zombie. Nice. Yeah, like Shane said, in any other program, losing that progress would have been an absolute table flip. Great how fast to get it back. Absolutely. So it crashed. If that happened in Maya, if that happened in Blender, if that happened in ZBrush, anything. I was not progressively saving. I am terrible at that. That is one of my probably weakest points in working in 3D is I forget to save often. It's usually when my computer starts to go, but I quick hit Control S and save what I'm working on. I never set up incremental saves and stuff like that. But MetaTailor knows I'm bad at that. So it was saving as it went through. It saved all those pieces that I imported. So the only thing I had to do is open up MetaTailor and just quick hit, apply, 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 and make those couple of changes like the thickness and stuff like that that I had applied earlier. So I lost a little bit of work, but I didn't lose everything, which is amazing. So let's call out how great MetaTailor is. All right, I did not do gloves on this character. I just realized I forgot to do gloves. It probably won't work with this guy. Let's see. I don't know if it's supported with this skeleton, but we'll give it a shot. He's got weird hands. Let's go ahead and try to import gloves on this guy. Import cloth and accessory. Let's grab the glove. Open. Color. Textures. Body. Normal. Body. Next step. Call it glove. Keep source dimensions, that's fine. Next step. Left hand. That faces me thinking which hand it is. All right. So we're going to place our left wrist. For our wrist, I think we decided we like to put the wrist at the top. So where do we want our wrist to be? We're gonna call our wrist like right about there. And then for the rest of it, let's do it from the bottom. And so we can click right. So we got 4 points for the thumb. So I'm gonna think of 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so I wanna start right about there for that saddle joint. I think that's what it's called. 2, 3, 4. We'll get the rest of these joints in here and we'll fix that one that I clicked strange. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, how does that all look? Look how easy that was. Minus my one hiccup and where that joint was. Let's go ahead and click. That's going to be the second from right here. So let's click on you. And now I have the ability to go in and arrange that joint and get that into a slightly better position. That's the only joint I have to fix. Maybe our wrist, because that's stuck to the top there. We'll bring that a little bit more to center mass. Right about there. Everything else, though, perfect placement. Perfect placement of where that glove is supposed to be there in center mass. I was just eyeballing it. I didn't have to do anything other than eyeball it, and MetaTailor did the rest of that magic for me. Now let's hit next step, and let's see how well this glove... Oh, it worked on this. It worked. It went over our fingers really well. Maybe it's a little thick, but this is probably one of the best hand placements on a glove I have seen since we've started this. Let's go ahead and add just a little bit of shrink wrap. Let's see. So we can see this thumb here is sticking out a little bit because it's at an odd zombie angle. But even so, even with that little bit of shrink wrap, it's still looking really good. This finger's peeking out because he's got long, creepy fingers, and this thumb's looking a little weird. Other than that, that hand's looking really good. So let's take some of that shrink wrap back down. Let it retailer, because he can have nice big gloves. And let's just take you, push, pull. I'm gonna have to put in a petition here to get some zombie movements in our viewport, because that's the next thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna animate this guy. Let's turn off surface fall off. Let's try that. There we go. Ooh, look at that. That's much better. This is one of those moments where surface fall off is definitely helping the weird creation of this glove. Let's take a smooth, turn off surface fall off again. Just touch that up. I think this probably would benefit more from a grab. We're gonna try to grab. We're gonna try to grab. We're gonna pretend to grab. We're not gonna do too much grabbing. That's all we're gonna do. I don't want to crash it again. He says as he does more. Right. Just right there. Just right there. There we go. There we go. There we go. Confirm. And quickly save. As soon as it's done tweaking those weights. Save. Look at our zombie. That looks amazing. All right, let's go ahead and give him some movement. Let's go to our viewport settings. Let's give him a simple idle instead of a female idle, or he's popping a hip every now and then. We're gonna need some shuffles. We're gonna need some less proud, prominent walks. They do run. They're a little bit more. That's less of a zombie run. That's a little bit better. Hey, that kind of works. Oh, look at that pose. Look at that pose. Amazing. Save. It's looking a little baggy on him, so let's go ahead and hit shrink wrap. I know he's emaciated and they weren't made for a skinny guy, but this just might look a little bit better if they're not as baggy. Look at that. Look at that character. That's amazing. Let's go ahead and move on to our next one. I am very happy. This looks amazing. This worked a lot better than I thought it would. Especially those gloves. Those gloves are by far the best gloves I think we've nailed ever since I've been like messing with the gloves. I think those look amazing. All right, let's go ahead and do another character. So that was Screamer. Let's go ahead and do I'm going to save Gas Bag for the end because that one is a full body. We're trying another full body. We're trying gloves, so that one has the most potential to fall apart. But let's go ahead and do the other one. I think is called Bomber. And let's go ahead and hit import, and let's go ahead and burn through some clothes again. Screamer, desktop, Bomber. There we go. Let's start with his shirt. Only to see if this shirt is a common issue. Okay. So there's the shirt. This is what I had in Photoshop, or not Photoshop, when I was working in Maya. And in Maya, so there's the accessories, the head, the legs, body, and it's a PNG. I don't think it's going to fall under accessories. Nope. Why does this PNG, it has alpha channels, why is this PNG different than what we see in Maya? We got Shane here. Let's find out together. Why is this now also freezing? Oh, because of that. Because I didn't actually close out of it. Let's take a look. We got Bomber. Let's discover it. Let's figure out why this free asset isn't working perfectly like the AAA asset I want it to. So this is what it's supposed to look like. This is all clean and nice and perfect. This is what we're trying to bring into MetaTailor. This is everything I tested and worked with. Here's the Hypershade. Graph Network. What are you? Textures, channel, Bomber, Body 01, PNG. Everything is fine. It's not any transparency, so what if instead we took you, assigned a new material, everything likes a Fong. Take this Fong right here to your color, add Body 01 PNG. It's added to your transparency. Take away that transparency, but then we're fine. But because we did it this way with a Fong instead, with the transparency broken, I will now hit File, Export Selection, go back to our Bomber, back to our shirt, Export Selection. Yes. Everything else is accessories. Let's hit Cancel. Cloth accessory, Bomber, shirt, open. It still doesn't like it. So this is a wacky one. So the next thing we can do, or try, Let's throw it back into Photoshop. I thought that definitely would have saved the broken transparency. I've already opened it once. You can come onto the desktop with me. As I try to figure out how to find a quick move alpha channels in Photoshop. Channel panel, layer mask. I'm in the channels. Here, channels. Channels. So that's not it. They say alternatively, let's try this. Let's try to hit file. We'll take away its ability to do. Save as. There's not some other body one that I'm missing here. Is there? Am I being foolish? That's accessories. Oh, there is. There's this one right here. Body 01 copy. I'm a knucklehead. Thank you all for sticking around. Body 01, where are you? Legs, head, accessories. Is that why? It's a DDS file, which I don't know what a DDS file is, but it's going to get changed. That's why. All right. We're discovering this together. What is a DDS file? What is a DDS file? Not a doctor of dental surgery. A Microsoft Village image format for storing textures. Of course it is. And of course, Autodesk is one of the few programs that can read it. DDS convert to JPEG. I will fight you, Microsoft. Ha! I beat you, Microsoft. I beat you at your own game. And there it is. Perfect. It just took a couple extra steps to figure out why it was being weird, but we got there. Now I got this really cool gory portion of the sleeve. Let's see. Thank you, Shane, for being here. Gory design, transparency without alpha channel is interesting. I mean, it's JPEG, absolutely work. Copy was a DDS. There you go. You saw the same thing I did. You got there sooner than I did, but we got there together. Once again, the issues with working off of free files off the web. But, I mean, that's kind of important on these live streams to show you if you run into these issues, if you run into these problems, how do we troubleshoot them? How do we see? That's why I love these lives. I mean, our recorded videos are amazing. They walk you through this, but they show you a perfect scenario. And how often have we on these live streams had truly a perfect scenario? I think it's every 10 streams we have a stream without any issues. And so having those little hiccups here and there are perfect for that. What I was going to say is they put it as a DDS file probably to stop people from ripping it out of the game and run into these issues specifically to make it non-user friendly. But little they know, we are smart, intelligent people. And we will get those files and use them. All right, that's pretty great. He's got rips and tears in his shirt. I'm going to turn off mirror for a second. And just kind of drag this hand out a little bit more like that. There we go. And preview our pose wrap. That's looking nice. We can bring our chest out just a little bit. Oh, let's turn mirror back on. There we go. Bring our chest out just a little bit more. And preview that pose wrap so that most of that shirt stays where it needs to. Or actually, it's starting to pull the underarm a little bit too much. There we go. That's looking good. Confirm. Next step, let's let it use its smart mesh. There we go. We can add just a touch of thickness to this. There we go. Let's take the shrink wrap and have that kind of sit on that arm a little bit better. There's a gap in the sleeve where there's supposed to be the bite and a bloody arm. I want that to stick a little bit better. So let's take our shrink wrap brush. And just kind of push some of this down a little bit more in the arm. Like that. There we go. That's looking a little bit better. Do the same to this side here. You can already see this shirt's better than the other ones. This one's all merged nicely. Confirm. It's looking good. Got a little point in the back there. We can grab our push-pull. Like that. Nice and clean. Let's import another piece. Import cloth and accessories. Bomber. We got that. Let's get our pants in here. Throw a normal map on these pants. Get them up a little bit, get them over that butt, get them in the back a little bit, pull up a little bit more. Now there was an option when I was in Maya and stuff like that to separate out these belts and have the pants underneath it, but there was too many overlapping things and getting hooks into the belts and stuff like that I opted to make it all one piece. The one piece is real. All right, let's go ahead and get our pose in here. Once again, really appreciate that these legs are in this wide pose here. especially because these pants are baggier. It just helps us out big time. Nice preview pose wrap. Let's hit confirm and next step. And let those kind of fall into place. There we go. You know what we can do? We can take these and we can do the redo pose match. We can bring our hips down a little bit more to like right there. And hit confirm. And it'll pull those pants up. And same with this shirt. We do redo pose match, and we can bring our hips up a little bit for the shirt and overlap those two and hit confirm. And that way it kind of adds a little bit of an overlap to the shirt and the pants, getting those a little bit more accurate. Feels like there's a lot. Maybe he's just super muscular. Maybe he's just super muscular. It's having a hard time shrink wrapping across the back here. He just feels really wide, and I don't feel like the character was really wide before. So I think that's just because I should have grabbed the skinny avatar and worked off of that one. All right, let's hit import, cloth and accessories. We've got our pants, we've got our shirt. Let's throw the vest in here. It's got this cool kind of like gas tank vest. We'll call it a backpack. This falls under the accessories. Call it a backpack. Let's see. These source dimensions must be gigantic or super small that they aren't showing up when I hit keep source dimensions, but that's okay. All right, that's fitting nicely. It's sitting on that shoulder there, and it's sitting on that shoulder-ish here. You can scale it down a little bit more, bring it up, bring it back. It's gonna be a lot like the Screamer. Let's do that. Let's hit confirm. Next, we'll do a little pose matching. Let's turn off mirror, just like we did with the Screamer. Just gonna pull that side back a little bit. Down a little bit. In a little bit. We probably could have just hit go with what was there. But I wanted to see... I just feel like with this weird accessory, it works so well with the Screamer. I wanted to see what it would look like if we did it for this one too. And preview our pose wrap. That's looking good. Hit confirm. Next step, let's see how this looks. Wrap around our guy nicely. It does. Nice. All right, let's do import, cloth and accessories. That was the best shirt, helmet, best shirt. Let's do the hood. It's got this kind of gas masky hood. Let's see how good we did. With that gas mask part that was sitting. All right. That there. Why is it doing that? Why are you not scaling uniformly? That's very odd. All right, so that's looking okay right there. our shoulder, our neck back, our shoulders in and back. Doing an impression on the Unreal scale too, absolutely. Next up, let's see how that does. All right, pushes that forward. Gets it in line right there. It's pushing that underneath, but we want that underneath our vest. Oh, we were almost perfect. We can probably just pull this back a little bit and hit confirm. Pull this down a little bit, and back a little bit more, and hit confirm. There we go. That's still looking good. And honestly, we probably want this under our shirt as well. So let's do that. Awesome. That's looking really good. And we got that hose in that right position. All right, import cloth and accessories. Now we throw the helmet on top of this. Nice cool helmet right there. I could have made them all one piece, but I wanted the option to take the helmet on and off. And it was two separate pieces, so why not? Pull that a headpiece as well. That fits. See, this one fits near perfect, like right off the bat. Little to no change. Confirm. Next step. And that does sit on top. There we go. Nice. All right, what do we have left? You got the belt. There we go. A little bit wider, a little bit thinner. Confirm, next step. Get that into place. I have the shirt tucked in, belt sitting on top. Oh, look at that. Almost perfect to these guys right here. In fact, I'd say that's pretty perfect. I was just eyeballing it. Next step, import cloth and accessories. We've got the belt. We can get a boot. And that's it. Then we have everything. Just the boot. And we got another character, and we'll throw it on our zombie character. And legs. And we'll wrap up our stream doing the gas bag. A little bit bigger. All right, let's hit confirm. Next step. Brought that boot all the way to the bottom, and I just need to mirror that over. Throw this all on our zombie avatar. Transfer. Sits nicely on our character right there. Gotta touch up the feet just a little bit. His feet are a little different. Confirm. And where's that silly walk? What else we have? We wouldn't walk with a rifle. Climbing up. A pose, stylish point. That one's interesting if you're hitting them. That's another good one. Hit it right about, I mean, that's funny, but hit it right about there. There we go. Nice skin weight test. Nail a pose. A little bit Michael Jackson. The weight's leaning forward. But nice and creepy. Nice and creepy screenshot. There you go. And let's do our last one. New project. This time, I'll do male skinny like I want to do. And we're going to call this one gas bag. All right, this time, let's throw it on the zombie avatar to start with. So we got the zombie avatar, so we can work with this immediately on our avatar. And we'll work with it there. Let's import some cloth and accessories. We'll go back to our desktop. And let's open up gas bag. And the gas suit is going to be the big part of it. But there is... Let's do the gas suit then. Let's do the gas suit. So we got this whole suit right here. It's asymmetrical. We'll hit our normal map. Go to our textures. We've got our suit. That does not have a normal mask. But you know what? That's fine. Next step. And this one's going to be a full body. Last week we tried full body. We're going to try full body again. We'll keep our source dimensions. Next step. Scale it down. Ooh, scale it down. There we go. We can try to fit it on this guy. I can scale it up a little bit because it is supposed to be a hazmat suit. It is supposed to be big and puffy like that. I think that's good. He isn't supposed to be filling it out. Let's just start our pose match. We'll bring our elbows up. We'll bring our hands up. We'll bring our wrists forward and over. So I do know the hands, the gloves will come out a ways. Go, bring our elbows back. Our shoulders up. Right there. Elbow up. Don't feel like that elbow's in the best position, so let's keep working on it. Right there, there we go. That's looking good. That's looking good on both sides. Bring our knees out. Bring our heels out. Woo woo. Bring our feet back out. Go. That's pretty good. Let's hit preview pose wrap. Nice. I like that. Confirm. Next step. That's fitting really well. If I wanted to shrink wrap it a little bit, I could start to do that, but I don't want to shrink wrap that at all. I think that looks great. Add thickness. I want to see if I take my yield down, is that affecting anything? No, it is not. So I can leave my yield right about there. All right, let's bring in some of these other pieces for this. Cloth and accessories, gas bag. Let's go ahead and grab. So the neck piece is kind of like this inner piece. It's not going to fit perfectly until we put the hood on there. It comes in two pieces. I didn't export these as one piece for the big reason. The hood that's going to come over, I want that to work like the actual suit itself, where it's a little bit big, where it's not necessarily affected by the head. It's not shrink wrapping to the head, but I do want this to shrink wrap a little bit to the neck. So I didn't want these two to affect each other, and I wanted the layering to be right. So that's why I chose to take this piece that kind of tucks into the suit that you're not supposed to see the bottom on a little bit differently. Let's go ahead and hit next step. I'm going to call this a shirt, even though it's just a collar. Next step, bring it up. Right, like there. All right. Confirm, start our pose match. We'll drop our shoulders down a little bit. There we go. We'll pull them forward a little bit. We pull our head forward a little bit and up a little bit. Bring our skull base up. Over just a touch. There we go. Preview our pose wrap. No, it didn't like that. I didn't like that. So let's pull that forward a little bit more. All right, a little bit better. I feel like it's not nailing the back. I guess we'll just hit confirm and see what it does. We'll adjust it if we need to. All right, and we want that underneath the gas suit. There we go. All right, let's get the hood in there and see how good this looks. See if we can't get this to fix itself. All right, so now we got the gas head, hood, whatever you want to call it, open. It's this piece right here. I want this to have almost no yield. So we're going to call this a headpiece. And confirm, and we're going to scale this up and get this down like right there. Good. Let's just go ahead and hit next step. Oh, I nearly nailed that perfectly. So close. All right, so now we can take this. Well, first off, let's turn off effects layering. Let's see if there's things being affected by this. No, so we just kind of got to get that lined up a little bit better to the back here. The front, there we go. There we go. Just like that. Confirm, and if we want to turn effects layering back on, we can. We could take you, and I'm going to put you in a 3x3 grid, and let's just scale you way out over here, because you just need a clip. That's the only purpose you serve, is to clip through the suit here and like here. And then again, here. And then once more back here. So you are just filling in gaps. That is your job, is just to fill in gaps. You two back here. I don't know why it's still grabbing this front one here, but I'll bring you. Ooh, well, weird. Confirm. That's looking pretty good. So this had a big face screen that was supposed to work nicely with a nice like crack in it, but for some reason the mesh on that was terrible. So this one just doesn't have a face screen, but you could see that would look pretty cool if we got a piece of glass over the front of that. But still, this looks really neat. All right, let's go ahead and get the boots in here. So like I said earlier, this one, the boots were asymmetrical. We got the head and neck suit. The boots were asymmetrical. So this is an instance where we'll have to bring in two shoes. They are pretty much identical, maybe a couple of different scuffs here and there, but overall the boot could have been identical, but I want them to be addressed as a unit and not individually. I don't want to have to mirror it over. So I'll hit that. And then let's go ahead and hit start our pose match. And because I can't move or scale the boots to the foot, now I have to scale and move the foot to the boot. So I'll do just that. Using my preview pose wrap, I'll move the boot like this. Not move the boot, I'm sorry, move the foot, move the toes. Get those into a nice position. Wanted to, I could bring the knee down a little ways and over. So it's fitting in a little bit better. And it actually looks pretty good. I will take the mirror off a little bit because this is a little asymmetrical there in the heel. Remember, we don't actually want to address heels. We don't work with heels. So for this, I'll just bring my toes up a little bit. And then I'll push the bottom of the boot in when I hit preview pose wrap. There it goes. That looks good. All right. Confirm. Next step. Let's see how this looks. There it is. That's looking good. I think I will take the, what if I put them underneath? So there's that. There's that. So if I really wanted this one tucked into the boot and this one over the boot, like is in the actual design, that would require bringing in a right boot and a left boot. But by doing it this way, it actually works a little bit nicely. It works pretty nice. There's not much that we have to worry about. Really, if you wanted to, we'd probably turn off effects layering, and that almost works perfectly. You'll just see that it's not fitting right there 100%. Turn effects layering back on though. It's just the top of this boot right here, which is doing okay. I think I'd leave that as it is. If I wanted to redo a pose match on those boots, I could, and turn on knees and elbows. And I could say turn off mirror. And I can make that boot a little bit taller by doing that. Confirm. There we go. I made that boot just a little bit taller. They look a little bit more accurate, but otherwise, that's a good boot. All right, now let's mess with the gloves. Let's give the gloves a quick look. Import, cloth, and accessory. Let's grab our gloves. So these gloves have a little bit of a thickness to them, a little bit of chunk. We'll hit next step. This is the right glove. Right. All right. Let's go ahead and place these. Our wrist is going to be pretty much center mass of this big ring right here. Our thumb underneath, we got that joint. Knuckle tip. Knuckle tip. Knuckle tip. Knuckle tip. Knuckle tip. And now let's take a look. How did we do? Every finger joint is perfect. Only two I will, oh, even the wrist is perfect. I think the only one I might correct will be this joint right here. It feels a little high. Might bring that down. Bring that over, like right there. Over like that, there we go. Next step. Let's let it wrap over. All right, it created it. But now it's struggling because the suit and the gloves were kind of like one piece. I won't keep making that joke. So they should sit a little bit better. Into each other, but they're struggling a little bit. So maybe I would take my suit and do a redo pose match. And bring that wrist. Like there. To confirm, let that swing out a little bit better. Put the glove over the suit. And there we go. Take the finger right there. We got a little bit of that thumb sticking out. It did a pretty good job. Bring our size down a little ways. Load up a little bit over there. Load up a little bit over there. Confirm. and mirror. All right, so here's our gas bag character. That's looking pretty awesome. All right, let's go to our viewport settings. Idle doesn't work because it's a big boofy suit. I did a silly walk already. What's one we could do? Ooh. And there's some creepy poses in here. I probably should have done this one for another one and given this one a different one. There we go. I'll take that pose right there. There we go. And there we go. So we got our 3 zombies. Looking spooky and scary. Amazing. All right. That's it for tonight's stream. Thank you all for hanging out. We created 3 really cool zombies and 3 really cool bloody beat up outfits that you can add to your world, that you can add to your Unreal game, that you can add to your Battlefield trailer, wherever you want to put it. But those are our 3 zombies. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me until we wrap this stream. As always, if you like anything I worked on, let me know. If you want your work to be shown at the start of the stream, please submit it to me or the community creations. And make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Join our Discord channel. It's an amazing community where you can get support and anything you need. But overall, that is it for tonight. I will see everybody next week. Keep an eye on Discord for what the next theme is.